Welcome to GwinnettDailyPost.com. Sports editor Will Hammock and Brandon Brigman here talking some college football recruiting. It's National Signing Day. Another huge year for Gwinnett. And Brandon, what's your impression so far?
Yeah, it was another big year. Last year it was the biggest that we ever had in Gwinnett, and this year we topped it by a lot. Had about 30 more signees from last year, well over 100. And we had kids going to SEC, big time schools in the FBS division, all the way down to Division II, 1AA, and NAIA schools. So it was a big year for Gwinnett.
And in Gwinnett, we don't get a lot of signing day surprises, but we kind of did this year over at Peachtree Ridge. Had some big news over there. Ahmad Harris making a last-minute decision. What did you think of that, Brandon?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Ahmad Harris, he wasn't getting a lot of interest, and then he thought he was going to go to West Georgia, a great Division II school, and then he ends up getting a call from UCLA, and decided to go there. And we really hadn't had a lot of excitement maybe a couple of years ago when we had the guy over at Grayson make a switch there at the end, but other than that, we hadn't had much excitement, so it was fun today.
Yeah, another thing that stood out to me is a couple of Georgia Tech signees this year. Georgia didn't get anybody in Gwinnett this year, which is kind of rare, but Georgia Tech and Paul Johnson came back again. Got Chase Roberts, a very good offensive lineman over there at GAC. I think in the long term he'll be a great player for Georgia Tech after he develops a few years. Same thing with Francis Callan, a defensive end from Central Gwinnett. I mean, he's an excellent football player. He's a guy that's just a beast to look at. He's going to be a great player for them. I think both those guys will be excellent. And I guess, Brandon, what are your impressions of those two guys that are going to Tech?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see Francis coming in and making an immediate impact. He's a little on the light side right now, but he could put in some weight. He's obviously a very good pass rusher. Put him maybe in on some third down situations. Chase might take him a year or two, to develop to be able to work in an offensive line in the ACC. But it'll be fun watching these guys in a couple of years down there.
In Gwinnett, we don't have a lot of five-star guys this year, but a lot of quality college football players. I think a lot of guys that are under the radar that are maybe going to be stars at the next level. If you had to pick one guy, Brandon, that's kind of maybe an overlooked guy at this point that's going to be a star in college football, who would you say it is?
I really like Jermaine Morris over at Archer. He's 6 foot, about 235. He was third in the county in sacks with 11. Obviously playing in Region 8, that's no cupcake division. So to have 11 sacks, that's pretty impressive. So for him to go down in Georgia Southern, I think they got a steal. I think they got a Division I, high Division I caliber talent there.
And just wrapping up here, I mean, this is just an amazing signing day for Gwinnett. Talking about more than 100 signees for one small county, it's pretty great. And back in the late 90s when I was covering it for the Daily Post, we'd had maybe 15, 18, 20 signees, and one Division I signee. And at one time, and David Green was the lone Division I signee. So the growth you've seen, I mean, from when you played, Brandon, has to be pretty amazing to see.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy when you look at those lists from the late 90s and early 2000s when literally we had 10, 15, maybe 20 kids signing for the whole county. Granted, there's about 6 or 7 more schools now, but I mean there's some high schools that are having 10 kids sign on their own, and that's what we were just having in one whole county wide. So it is pretty amazing to see how many Division I BCS guys that we have signing now. It's awesome to see these guys at the next level.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Look for more at GwinnettDailyPost.com.